it. Big category. Our studio light has died. I'm on my third cup of tea. It's that time. This is our game of the year for 2019.
Yep.
I'm going to run through a list. On this list is essentially everything that we played this year.
Yeah.
So here we go.
And this is going to be a ordered list of 5.
Ordered list of 5.
Yep.
For this category. So we have Eternal Castle, Apex Legends, Resident Evil 2, Baba Is You, The Occupation, Devil May Cry 5, Division 2, Void Bastards, Observation, Outer Wilds, Judgment, Control, Wilmot's Warehouse, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Jenny the Clue, Untitled
Goose Game.
United Goose Game, John Wick Hex, Neocab, Disco Elysium, Outer Worlds, Life is Strange 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, Eliza, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Plague Tale Innocence, My Friend Pedro, I'm assuming that's Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yep.
And Astral Chain.
Yep. Do you want to do the usual thing of add a card with a line on it?
Yes, I'm going to do that now. Where we're going to put stuff above this line.
Yep.
And we will... Oh, wow. They've changed this. Where if you draw a line, it actually draws a line.
Oh.
Interesting.
Good job, Trello.
Okay. What are the things that we are relatively confident are going to be above the line?
Relatively confident are going to be above the line. Disco Elysium.
I think Disco Elysium is going to be above that line.
Yep. I think that Outer Wilds is probably going to be above that line.
You're probably right, but we will
put it above the line and then we'll figure that out.
Yeah. I think Control is going to be above that line.
Sure. I think Apex Legends has the potential to be above that line. Potentially.
Wow. The problem is I'm already playing things of like, I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you that Jenny the Clue is above that line, but
probably not, though. You can put it there and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. Let me just very quickly check my own top 3, my own top 5.
Top 3.
Top 5 and see where I put this.
I don't remember my top 5 now. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, I did put it there. Okay. I think Eliza could be one of the top 5 games. Okay. I'm going to put it there and we'll have that discussion.
Sure. I would like to put Devil May Cry 5 above the line.
Okay. We now have 6 things above the line.
Yep.
What else we got?
Anything else we could put above the line?
Want
to put Resident Evil 2 above the line. I don't think it will do anything.
I don't think it will.
Okay.
But I really like that game.
It is really
more
good.
Than I expected to. God. I'm going to put Jenny the Clue above that line and we can have that talk.
Sure.
Life is Strange 2 is right on there. Where I'm like, it's very good, but I don't know if I want... It's on my top 5.
Sure.
But combined with the stuff that you're going to want there, whether it hangs or not, I'm not sure. Is Fire Emblem there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is Astral Chain there?
No.
Okay. Is Pokemon there?
No.
Is Kingdom Hearts 3 there?
No. I want it to be, but there's no way it is.
Really?
No. Fuck no.
Okay.
That game ostensibly is not great. Like, it's not a great game. I really like it, but that's an entirely different statement.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is your Death Stranding.
Kind of, yeah.
Is Death Stranding on that top 5?
Fuck no. Okay. I'll kill someone if that thing goes above the line.
Does Goose Game make it?
I like Goose Game.
Hiding my shirt at this point.
I like Goose Game a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if does it hang in a top 5?
I don't think so. I'll also say, like, just because it didn't come up during this thing, Neocab is excellent, but it just doesn't hang with a lot of the other stuff.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a lot of things in this list, like we haven't really mentioned in our stuff, like Judgment and stuff like that.
Judgment is only there because I played it. I have not finished that game yet, and that game came out in March or whatever it was.
Sure.
Like, I just haven't had the will to go through it yet. It's more, if you like Yakuza, there's a good chance you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
It does a lot of really cool things, but like the story's not hooking me the same way it did for some of the other Yakuza games. Is the Division there?
Not really.
No.
Nah. It was.
I enjoyed our time with the Division.
Yeah, it was solid for what it was. But it like wasn't spectacular.
Yeah.
Anything, and it had a lot of problems. Like the menu was still terrible when we played it. And
true. That is true. I really liked Plague Tale, but I'm not sure if it hangs. But I'm gonna put it there, and we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Because I haven't had a chance to talk about it anywhere else.
So the only other one on this list that I could maybe potentially see having a discussion about is like John Wick Hex.
I haven't booted it since we did that video.
Then okay.
To be honest, I'm gonna put Resident Evil 2 above as well, and we can talk about it. But I think that's the things that we should consider. I think everything else under here is
this the name check?
Is just like, hey, these are all of the. I mean, like, this is not even a name check. This is just all of the games we played this year.
Yeah.
Or I played this year.
But these are all like. In one way or another, these are pretty good games.
The nature of us doing this off our own back means we only play the things that we're probably going to like, which is why our most disappointing category is there. Yeah. Because, like, I paid money for this shit, and it was not good.
Yeah.
So, but I think those 9 are the ones we should whittle down.
Sure, okay.
And we can always bring in a ringer if we need to fix something. So...
Let me tell you about Kingdom Hearts 3 for a ringer.
Okay.
No, I don't want to.
But this is how this works, is we'll discount it now, and then suddenly we'll go, what about Kingdom Hearts 3? No, okay.
There's not a universe, if I'm the one saying this probably shouldn't be on the list, it's probably not
I think Kingdom Hearts is fucking nonsense. So
it is.
If Kingdom Hearts 3 makes it on there, I'm putting Death Stranding on this list, and we are fighting this out.
Kingdom Hearts is nonsense. You're absolutely right.
Okay,
it's
good.
not.
Okay, so... let's do another pass on this 9 and see what's probably there.
Yeah.
It's probably Disco Elysium and Control are probably there for me.
Yeah. I agree.
After that, it starts to get a bit hazy. Because...
okay.
Apex is excellent. I stuck with Apex longer than any other Battle Royale game.
Yeah.
And I will still boot it up
I still play it
once a month.
I still play it like nearly every week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got enough variance and unique things that aren't just like, hey, it's a Battle Royale game and you got there and you looted it for 5 minutes and then you got one shot across the map.
Yeah.
From nowhere that you
the sheer fact that you last longer means that you get better at that game.
I like you last longer, and fights are typically a lot closer, especially on this new map where it's a lot of like urban areas.
So like I haven't even played the new map yet.
Fights are a lot tighter.
Right.
There are some long range areas as well, but the fact that like all the different like champion abilities and stuff like that, it means that there's like a lot of variance in that game that keeps it fresh and different.
Yeah. And they have been doing a pretty good job of keeping it like up to date and nerfing stuff and
yeah, they've been doing the right things they need to do. They still haven't got the correct monetary model. Things are still wicked expensive for no reason.
There needs to be as well. Like I have not bought a character in that game yet.
Yeah.
But because like I feel like I would really like Watson, but I'm not paying £7 to find out I'm not.
You should get Crypto. You'd really like Crypto.
Sorry, yes, Crypto is the other one. Where I was like, that sounds like my jam, but I have to invest to get that. I don't get like, here's 5 free rounds or something like that. Like, I need something to be able to test the character. Or even let me play it in the training. Like, let me play with the abilities. Yeah. Let me do something. I'm going to move it to the bottom of the list for now because I don't know about that.
Is Plague Tale really that good?
It kind of like, if we had a most surprising category, it would be there. So that game is not... I thought that game was going to be like, here's like a stripped back Metal Gear Solid, where it's like, it's pure stealth and rats. But actually, that game is a puzzle game. Like, that game is...
With rats?
with rats.
Okay.
That game is like, here's a scenario with one solution, and you have 4 tools. Go using the tools that you have.
Sure.
But on top of that, like, the narrative's pretty good. It looks great. The voice acting, they've managed to, I keep putting this all on Focus Home, but it just seems like that encompasses like a genre of game that is now here. But like that, they solved the problem that the council had, which was like, hey, all the dialogue in this game sounds fucking terrible, by letting the French people speak with a French accent in English.
Yeah.
The dialogue's good, like it's actually good. They have a reasonably interesting, a pretty interesting story on top of like this brother-sister dynamic. They have a lot of really good characters. It's fucking brutal. Like, it goes real dark places at points. Like, part of it might just be more surprising than anything else. Like, I did it in like a day and a half.
Right.
Like, I did the whole thing, and it's like a 9-10 hour game or something like that. I really enjoyed it. Whether it makes it or not, I'm not sure, but I really enjoyed it.
Better than...
Oh,
sorry, let me go.
Is Resident Evil 2 a good game or a good update?
Both.
On its own, it's a good game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's a really good game on its own. It's a solid survival horror game.
Yeah.
That has like it's super tense. It's like the whole like scarcity of ammo thing comes back into it. Actually surviving is hard.
Yeah.
The puzzles are interesting, even if you've already done Resident Evil 2 before.
Can I raise a counterexample?
What?
Mr. X can get fucked.
Yeah, but he's there as a persistent threat,
but he's
like
too persistent.
I think he's too persistent.
Like remember I told you like what from the moment he activated in my game, like I could not breathe. Like he was down my neck all of the time to the point where I thought the game had broken.
Right. Okay.
Like and then there's a point where he'll disappear again. Like yeah. You might be right. You might be right. Might be right.
But it is also, I also think it is strengthened by the fact that it is a remaster handled with extreme precision and care that like no other remaster has ever been handled with.
And like even like they've kept the right things sacrosanct from the original game, where like they've massively improved the map to the point where that game then becomes a game you can play in 2019.
A playable game.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, by the way, here's where the diamond key or the diamond keyhole was.
Yeah.
The thing you found ages ago that you
the map is really good. The map like scores stuff out and
it's like, oh, by the way, this is blocked. Oh, by the way, you've already been here.
Yeah, that's super clever.
Like that stuff is a smart update to that game.
And then replacing the whole tank controls thing with an actually really competent third-person shooter.
For sure, like a really good third-person shooter thing.
Yeah.
I was hoping in that game at some point they were just going to open up and give you a bunch of ammo to just dump into people.
Yeah.
Which they didn't really do.
No.
There's a section in 3 that lets you do that, I think.
Don't remember.
I don't know. We'll find out when April when that game
comes out.
Okay. I'm trying to separate the fact it's a really good, solid remake from
I think that it's such a good remake that it transcends and just becomes a good game at that point. Like it's.
I can see that being a valid argument. The 2 games on here I'm going to have a hard time arguing.
Is Jenny LeClue really such a good game, or were you just really surprised by it because you didn't know what it was and then you played it?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
But like, so...
Because I played it and thought it was fine. Like,
so here's the thing. I wrote extensive notes in my phone about 2 games this year. One of them's Control, and one of them is Eliza.
Right.
Like, Eliza... Like, and it's almost unfair how much Eliza spoke to me as a human being. Like, it's almost unfair to other games.
I think that's totally
but like,
valid.
If I was like even like a 10th of a different person, it probably wouldn't have hit. But the fact that it did so much, like it felt like they were writing like
for you.
Yeah, like I've got a bit of a top 5 where it felt like they distilled my entire Twitter timeline into a game.
Yeah,
like it's so of the moment and so like the people I surround myself with and I'm look up to and all that kind of stuff. Like the conversations they're having are the conversations that we are having as an industry.
Do they have a conversation, Eliza, about 10x programmers?
very close.
Very close
yeah,
to 10x.
Like, also, there's like, and then on top of that, like, there's a whole thing about like one of the CEOs is like, well, I never asked anyone to crunch, but
Oh, come on.
and like. There's like a straight up like Imogen Heap reference in there. Like
Wow.
it's like they wrote a game to me.
Yeah.
It's almost unfair to other games. But like on top of that, like it tells a really good, even if none of that matters. Well, even if you're not as in depth in the middle of all of that shit. Like it's a really good, concise story, like a really human story. And also coming from a studio that does super mechanics heavy logic puzzles to actually write a super interesting story.
Like I didn't see much of Eliza, but the stuff
it's
that
like
I did see.
It's not a long game, and I highly recommend people play it.
Yeah,
it's really really good.
Yeah,
because
I like the idea that the Zachtronics guys, because I played a fair amount of X-Punks.
Yeah.
And the same as it did for you, it did for me, where it stood out to me. It was like they're actually really trying with this like narrative stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's for a company that is literally just we make programming games.
Totally.
Really
like,
trying with this narrative. So seeing them expand out and
even when they started with Shenzhen IO, like the story part of that, which is purely told like through emails backwards and forwards, like there's some stuff in there that is like the inklings of like they might actually do something with this. And then when they actually started doing like dialogue and narrative and all that kind of stuff, you're like, okay, they have a handle on this. But I expected like a couple more games down this road for them to then go like, here's a solid good
book,
story. But like for them to just suddenly turn and go, we're gonna make a visual novel like in this really cool art style, like painterly art
the art
style,
is really good,
with really good music, and also it's like super relevant, like more relevant than anything really is at this point. So the thing now I am happy for
take that and talk to me about Jenny LeClue.
Jenny LeClue, fuck, you know what it is like Jenny LeClue is my like stopgap for the next game for the Night in the Woods people. Like it hits so many of the same feelings for me in terms of like the way that game is structured, the dialogue, the characters, like all of that stuff was kind of in there. And it also like it just continually surprised me with where it was going to go, and it was like, okay, this could be very very, this could be charming and nothing else, but then actually they do the, oh by the way, there's some fucking darkness in here, and also like the double narrative and all of the author stuff in there as well, and there's stuff in there about like authorship of media and like all of that kind of thing, and then the story they're telling is actually good. The detectivizing in it is actually pretty good, where you're like, oh, I make it, like the parlor scene moment where she puts the whole thing together is 100% a Poirot moment of like, wait, what do you mean the berries in the tree were red? Oh god, that's blown the whole case up. And suddenly, that moment is really good. And then the final choice, again, I think the thing that, well, the two things. One, I'm kind of happy to just leave it on my top 5 because like you have to have seen it from start to finish to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But also like the fact that they don't advertise like, this is like the first chapter in this story. Like we're going to give you a bunch of shit that we're not going to finish here. Yeah. Like we're going to finish this overall murder
the
plot
overarching,
but there's a whole bunch of like the secrets of Arthurton and all this kind of stuff that are like, we're doing later.
Something's gonna happen later.
So for that reason, I'm kind of happy to just keep it on my top 5 and leave it. So I'm gonna put that below the line and say goodbye to that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if Outer Wilds is here because.
Oh wait, you can move down Devil May Cry 5.
Oh really?
That's not gonna hang.
Oh really?
That is like one of the best character action games I've ever played.
Totally, which
like,
is
easily.
Yeah.
And that came out in when we were talking about mechanics, like why that game is as good as it is.
And to be fair as well to it, like as a person who does not like those games, like I put a reasonable amount of time into it and had fun.
Yeah. It's not like super. There's not super hard to get something fun out of that.
I mean, we had a long conversation in the podcast when we're talking about that game, about like how that game struggles with its own identity as like the fact that like it constantly has this grading system on it, which is like if you're shit at the combo system, it tells you you're shit. Like you'll still continue and probably have fun with it.
Yeah.
But like the fact you can't switch it off is like it's constantly been like any game constantly going, you're a D is
yeah, I can imagine. I can understand that being like a kind of downer.
Yeah, but like, okay, cool. So that leaves Disco Elysium, Control, Outer Wilds, Eliza, Plague Tale, Resident Evil 2, Apex Legends. I'm probably not. How many have we got? That's what, 7?
7.
7. I'm probably not going to convince you of Plague Tale. Plague Tale's a really good. Like, people should just sit down and play that game.
Sure, yeah.
It was real cheap over the Steam sale. It's better than you imagine it should be.
It's better than you think it
excellent.
is. That's what a lot of people have said about it. So it's not.
It did very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You have to cut 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, it's one of those bottom 2, and I can't quite choose.
If it's one of those bottom 2, I think. It's hard.
It is hard. Like, it's.
It's not like putting it down or anything like that. Like, I've played a lot more Apex Legends
but
than
that's
I
the
did.
thing. Like, is Apex there because it's like this? It's like a comfort game. It's like something you can go back to. You can bust out in half an hour and have some fun and then leave it.
I mean, I think that's to its credit. Like,
well, yeah, you're right.
It is
you're
like
right.
it is a thing that is one. It's one of the games that if like I. Like, say I've played a night and I'm done with Destiny or whatever, and I still have like an hour or something
which is
before I go to bed.
Bizarre to me because Destiny's that game for me. Is
well,
like fuck. I've got an hour.
No, because
okay,
we play that in different ways.
Yeah,
where I actually try, and you're you're a
and
casual.
Filthy casual. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, like if I have an hour before bed, then I can do like a couple of rounds Apex.
Sure.
And just.
I will say, like, it's kind of hard because Apex came out so early in the year. Like, it feels like it's always been there.
Yeah.
But like to actually go back and think about it, like how much of a revelation that pinging system was.
Yeah, it did a lot of the
fact that like
the pinging system and the res system.
The fact that public queuing then became viable because you can actually communicate with people.
You
and
can go fucking
like,
over there.
There's a thing over there, and also like.
Yeah, it was I think it was Jeff Gerstmann talked about this a lot when they came out initially because it was like a big surprise of them going, "Hey, we've made this game. It's out next week."
Yeah.
We went, "Fuck, new game by Respawn," and they said it's a team-based battle royale game. It's 3 players and there's no solos.
Yeah.
Everyone went, that's gonna suck.
Yeah.
But then that dynamic ping system and the res system and stuff like that kind of made everybody go, oh, you can actually just play this with randoms because you can direct people and they don't always listen because randoms are random.
Totally.
But it feels more viable.
I'll also say like I've had reasonably an above average experience with randos. Like I haven't had like
I haven't had that many bad experiences. Like
and some of that might just be because we play on PC and like we're just better than people. But like that's a lie.
Yeah.
But like it did seem like I had good experiences. I had very few like people who are just like as soon as you launch and people just go fuck you and fly off. And
I've had very few solo jumpers.
But also I had a game like that where the team of 3 and there was a guy that just fucked off and we came second, like the 2 of us who were left.
Yeah,
like,
I've had that before as well, and that's like also a great feeling.
Totally.
Like I've had that a lot where
and it's a good feeling shooter.
It's an amazing feeling shooter. Like it's Titanfall, which was already amazing, but done into a battle royale shooter. Like
you're right.
But with the extra component of like champion abilities, so everybody has unique things,
and they're good as well. And it's not a thing. Oh, I haven't seen really a thing so far where it's like apart from maybe like Wraith, like there's reasonably not random, but reasonably varied team makeups.
Yeah,
like I'm probably always playing around with a Wraith or a Bangalore.
Yeah,
but like everyone else is like people cycle.
Yeah,
like,
I sit in like I have my boy Caustic that I will always go back to.
Of course.
But I sit and bounce between people because they all have like really cool abilities and they're fun. Like
because I play Bloodhound and then if Bloodhound's gone, I'll play Gibraltar. Like I've got pretty good at Gibraltar at this point, and then if not that, then usually Bangalore or something like that. But like the fact that you can. The fact that it's not just like because that was the point when I started dropping over Overwatch was like. Of course, there's 4 fucking Genzos.
Yeah.
Like, of course there is. Or Genzo? No.
Genji.
And Hanzo is the other one.
Hanzo's the other
I kept getting them confused. But like, of course, there's 4 Genjis and like.
Yeah.
People, and then you'd like, And then there definitely felt like the thing in the Overwatch community where you'd be like, I seem to have reasonably good success with Mei, but I'm not allowed to play Mei because everyone hates Mei, especially early on. And you're just like, well, fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
you've never been scorned for your picks in Apex.
No,
it's
exactly.
Always been like,
because there's always someone useful, and
Yeah.
like it's very rare that you get a situation where it's like this team is useless because we don't have a lifeline.
yeah,
Like,
exactly, yeah.
You can usually do all right because if you don't have a lifeline, you probably get something.
Because like some of the, even like every situation in that game is a lot of fun. Because even like the open field like running gun and stuff
Yeah.
is really fun. But then there's like moments where me and my friends have been like a proper like heavy defensive team.
Yeah.
Like caustic Gibraltar Watson level
Right.
defensive, and it's like top 5 or whatever, and it is like small circle and there's a house.
Yeah.
And we are fucking staying in that house, and no one is getting in this house.
Yep.
And it is like every door's trapped to fuck. There's bubbles everywhere, and it's just literally the most tense thing of people looking out of windows and going like, "Can you see anybody? No."
Yeah.
Fuck, this is gonna get really tense. If this circle moves, we're fucked here.
And again, it's kind of impressive. I don't think we can underscore, like, in a world that, and in a genre that is ruled until this year by Fortnite and PUBG.
Yeah.
For another game to come in and be like a serious
really
competitor.
compete, yeah.
Like, admittedly, they had to do it in a way that's like, it's free to play. Our monetization is aggressive.
Oh yeah.
But like they're hanging in there and they're doing, and they
Yeah.
introduced so many different mechanics that's like there cannot be, like in the same way we were talking about like Disco Elysium, like changing up the formula. Like I cannot imagine that like there's not a thing that does not just directly lift that pinging mechanic.
Oh, Fortnite did it.
And even the res
Fortnite,
mechanic.
Fortnite took
like,
it, and
Fortnite
Fortnite took
2
the res
weeks
mechanic,
took the res mechanic. But like even the pinging stuff is one that's like that can go into other genres.
Oh yeah,
like,
that can be universal. Yeah, that's such a good
now.
idea. But yeah.
And like having it dynamic and being like whatever you're pointing over and clicking the button will do it.
Yeah.
And it works on controllers, which is
Yep.
the other point that missed about Battlefield, where it was a nightmare to spot things. It was super smart. It was a really good version of that. Okay. I could see Apex staying. Because I have more argument for that than I do for Resident Evil. Resident Evil's really good.
I really liked the Resident Evil was staggeringly good for what it was.
I'm actually more excited for 3 because I have more of a connection to 3 as a game.
Yeah.
But like, if that's their base, like they'll be good. They'll be pretty good.
So we have 5 now.
So we have 5: Disco Elysium, Control, Outer Wilds, Eliza, Apex Legends.
Yep.
I am happy for Eliza to sit in the bottom.
Yeah, I think that's probably
because
about
I'm
right.
the only person that can speak to it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's there. I think Apex is probably fine where it is because I can't see an argument.
Yeah, no, I
for
think
above that.
The 3 that is at the top are probably right. Yeah.
And I'm probably okay with Outer Wilds being there.
And this is kind of where I thought this was gonna go.
Yeah. Because it does a lot of good. Like Outer Wilds is a spectacular construction. Like, honest to God, half the reason I want to get that game finished and done with is so I can start watching the No Clip documentary about how the fuck did you build this? Where did this come from? Like, this is such a nuts concept for a team to even attempt.
Yeah.
Is just like, and there's so much.
Who was that? Was it Annapurna? Was that the?
That's the publisher.
That's the publisher.
I can't remember the name of the developers. Sure. But like, it's a new team as far as I can tell for them to just go, hey, we're doing this really wild thing, and like just like the sheer imagination involved in that game of like, and it basically does the thing. I described. I was trying to describe to somebody why. Makoto Shinkai's movies, the anime director who did Voice of a Distant Star, Place Promised, Garden of Words, that kind of stuff, Your Name, which is the famous one.
Yeah.
I was trying to describe why his stuff was so impressive to me, cause to people who have not watched a lot of anime, like all anime looks the same, but like he goes and takes every single rule of things you don't do in anime and does them 12 times. Like the fact that like you don't do water, like water is super difficult in anime, and then he did like Garden of Words, which has like exquisite rain sequences.
Yeah.
And like his new movie, whose name I can't remember, is all about a girl that can control rain and water, and like all of that. Like he just takes every rule and goes, nah, fuck it, and just does it brilliantly. Like that's what Outer Wilds does, is like, hey, we want to build a planet that over the course of 22 minutes falls in on itself into a black hole and ejects itself out into space.
Yeah.
And by the way, you need to be able to traverse inside, outside, round it, and also
while it's
collapsing in itself, and being able to transfer out to that bit.
Yeah.
And like, how do you, like the Ash Twins with the sand that goes between one planet to the other, like that's an insane concept that they've pulled off.
Yeah.
Like just every just all of it, and then how you construct a thing. Like, how do you debug that? Not debug. How do you tweak any part of that game, right? Where you have like 30 or 40 paths that you can go down.
Yeah, at any given moment in time.
In 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you tweak any part of that, you have to retest all of that to make sure you can't break any of this. And like, the fact that like it does the thing where like you can just take off a planet, you load, you land on another planet, you go underground, you go through this thing, it all just happens.
Yeah.
There's a really good moment as well where, and it took me a while to catch on to what it was, where the reason why it ends after 22 minutes is the sun goes supernova and swallows the whole universe. Yeah. There's a music sting that leads up to it that is very subtle.
Right.
Eventually you learn that music sting, and then the music sting happens, and the music sting kind of it stops and kind of floats off, and then you just hear this boom.
Yeah.
And you hear this supernova go, and you're like, fuck, I've only got a minute left. Oh shit. It's just a spectacular creation. Like, it's, even if it kind of played like, well, no, that's not true, but like everything it does in terms of like the thing that we've built to let you go, we've built, like, it's done the thing where it's like, we've built you a world, go fucking explore it.
Yeah.
And again,
in
like
22 minutes,
the fact that like I've spent 25-30 hours of that game at this point, and I'm at the end game, and I know how to do it, and you can do it from day one.
Yeah.
From hour one, you can just go and finish the game. It's all there. You just need to know exactly what to do. You need to have the knowledge of what's happening, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's a really clever thing.
It's an incredible piece of work. It really is. So you imagine this was going to be a Control Disco Elysium fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought this is going to be where it went.
That's kind of where I thought this was going to go to. Yeah, like,
the thing is that I thought about this in my head, and I thought this is where it was going to go, and then I didn't know how I was going to resolve it.
Yeah.
It was going to be the issue.
Because that's the thing, like, I've only got, like, I knew Disco Elysium was special, and the time I spent with it, I've thoroughly enjoyed, and I've seen, again, like, from a completely new team to have done this super ambitious, like, I don't think it's like an exaggeration to say genre-defining bit of work.
Like, it is going to be talked about, like, up there in the, I hope anyway, it's going to be talked up there in terms of, like, Planescape Torment.
Totally.
And, like, the big
big
names.
Those are your peers at this point.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
like, when you're rubbing elbows with something like Planescape and being able to say, like, yeah, I see what you're doing, but here, look what I've done with it, is staggering. Like, it's unbelievable that something like that can take such a well-written bit of narrative and do it in that genre with such like such precision and depth, and without even compromising on an idea. Like, every idea they had, well, probably not, because I don't know how they made it, but like the ideas that went into that game all work together and all feed into each other, that then feed back into the narrative in the world. So you end up in this amazing gameplay narrative loop that just feeds you through this entire game throughout the whole.
I also say it's really refreshing to see a game that has a message and a point of view and just fucking goes for it. Like, in this world of like, no, of course Ubisoft games aren't political. Like, with the fact that they got up the Game Awards and thanked Karl Marx as one of their, like, like, they have an opinion and a point of view of the world and are going to tell you about it.
They're certainly, there are they present a lot of ideas and a lot of opinions in that game. They never explicitly are like, this is the one.
No, but
they definitely go like, here's why communism's not terrible.
Right, yeah.
Here is why capitalism fails a lot of the time.
Totally. Like,
hey, let's talk about fascism.
It has some things to say, and like, yes, your character can then go, yes, I'd like to be a race supremacist.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that it lets you do it
yeah.
is impressive, while also saying like, no, we've got some things to say about the state of the world, and we're not afraid to actually say them.
Yeah.
And be like, and not do it in like smoke and mirrors and like, you take from this what you want. Like, yeah, we're gonna say some shit.
Like I said when we were talking about narrative and stuff like that, is a game that it feels very much of the current political climate, even though it is set supposedly in the past, even though they don't give it like a specific timeline.
But also there's power armor.
But also there's like power armor and like weird cars and stuff like that. But it feels very much of the moment of there are massive divides in society.
Yeah.
And there are massive divides of opinion in society, and it is a lot of problems being brought about by people not listening and not understanding to each other, which rise to these issues. And then obviously ends with the main character, the main person that you can pin everything on being a massive like insular politically, being like, I have had these ideas forever and have not changed them ever, and why that is super dangerous and why you should try to be involved in society and all that stuff.
Totally.
And it is incredibly reflective of the state of the world right now, where a lot of people are very insular, and a lot of people it is. And and they wrote it, but they also, while taking this thing super seriously, also wrote a bunch of amazing little character stories.
So like it's not even just the overarching story. Like, this character, this unnamed character the character has so many depths, but also like a variety of depths depending on how you play.
Yeah, there are depths that you can put on that character.
And you can struggle with different things as a character depending on how you build your character. Like, it's definitely one of those things which is like, I wonder how you even... Yeah, like, how do you test that game? Again, how do you test every path? How do you know everything works?
Yeah.
Like, all of that kind of stuff. There's so much variety that can happen there. And it all, like I said, it all feels natural. It all feels like this is the one way this is meant to be played.
The thing that game does better than pretty much anything I've ever seen is that game feels personal.
Yeah.
It feels yours. It is the character that you made acting in the way that you made them.
Totally.
And it is like, unless someone does exactly the same thing as you did, that is your game. Like, that is the way.
Totally.
And it means that you get to the end of it and you immediately, like I did, going like, wonder what happens if you play this just as like a complete blockhead tough guy.
Yep.
Like, what happens? Like,
how does
the world react to that?
What happens if you just have to brute force your way through it?
Yeah, what happens if the world reacts to you just wanting to punch everything?
Especially in a world that is as politically and emotionally complex as that world is. Like, what happens when you can't connect to any of that and you're just like, me punch? There are several situations in that game that I could think of where it would be like, if that guy was like a complete blockhead, this would fuck this completely like horribly. And that would be super interesting. Like, it's not, there is no bad choice in that game. It always leads to something different or interesting or so yeah, in terms of control, like, as a person who's a huge fan of Remedy's previous work, I'm the person that, like, against all knowledge, I kind of want to pick up Quantum Break at some point and be like, just show me what that thing is.
Yeah.
The way, like, it would be very easy for a game like that to have taken too many things from other third-person games of that type, but like, it doesn't look or feel like any other game out there.
It's very unique.
It has its own thing. It's trying to do its own thing. It layers on, like, it's a world where Casper Darling does not feel like a weird character in that game. Like, he feels entirely suited to that world, that situation.
He is definitely a character of control.
The fact that it's FMV and it doesn't matter.
No.
Like, it feels totally thing. The fact that they've layered FMV onto that game in really interesting ways, like in World, like when the directors,
the director shadows are
and they use like all of that stuff super well. It's technically amazingly competent. It's it has a good combat system. Like, I am an Alan Wake apologist. Like, I thought the combat in that game was totally fine when it really freaked people out for some reason. Like, that combat feels good, especially with like the powers. Like,
yeah, it's Control for me was like the game that, as someone who is a distant Remedy fan of like, I really like what these guys do and what they write, but fuck me, you can't play their games because they're bad to play.
Right, fair enough.
This one was like, oh no, I can actually experience a Remedy game while playing it, and that was a really good experience. Like, it's super
and
good.
Also, like taking the formula and doing their own thing with it was like, okay, the thing we don't need to worry about is ammo. Fine.
Yeah.
Like, we've mysticismed that away. That's fine.
Yeah.
Also,
with
like
special magic gun.
Yeah. Also, really cool special magic gun.
Yeah, it's a cool magic gun.
And just like the sense of style and tone of that game is just so kind of, it's ethereal but grounded at the same time, where it's like you really feel like you're in this like place that is unhinged from reality while being in a concrete brutalist office building.
Yeah, the thing that I said when I was talking about this in my top 5 was that it's a game that it soaks itself in mystery.
Oh yeah.
Like, everything is a complete mystery. Even the building you're in is a complete mystery. The whole of the bureau is a mystery.
Yeah.
And it does a really good job of giving you enough of that mystery to make you go, what the fuck?
Yep.
But also holding enough back to be able to go, like they never explain like what the board is.
And also they don't need to.
They don't need to.
Like, there's enough other stuff going on where you're like, we can explain the board much, or we can never. Like, it can be the Walking Dead thing where you're like, we're never going to cure the plague.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we're talking about. This is all set up for us to tell cool other stories.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's
like,
that's perfectly okay.
It's the opposite from.
It's not about the zombies.
It's the opposite of like what I was talking about with stuff like Jenny the Clue, where like they set up a whole bunch of mysteries there that they don't pay off in that part, and it really hurt me.
Yeah.
When I got to the end of that thing, I thoroughly enjoyed, and they're like, but all the other stuff that was super interesting, like, do something with that. Like, they don't need to. They can go there if they want.
No, yeah. I think the way that the control handles its mystery gets to a point where it is like, you accept what you've been given, and then everything else you're kind of okay with being like, that can exist in the bureau. That is like a setting
because
the
they've set up this world where the people who are theoretically experts are in the same position as you.
Yeah.
Where you're like, where there's a scientist who's like pouring 7 milligrams of water on a duck because they don't know what this duck does.
God. That was one of the best things I've heard in video games for a long time.
Right.
Was the fucking experiment notes
Yep.
for that poor fucking scientist who had a rubber duck that they were convinced was an object of power.
Which it was. Like, you can see the hiss coming off it. Like, it does something.
It does something. And there are multiple research notes of this person going, pouring water on this duck, no result.
Yeah.
Pouring pH 2 on this duck, no result.
Applying pressure to the duck.
Applying pressure to the duck, nothing happens to this duck. And it is literally just pages of research notes and audio files where eventually it gets to the point where you're looking at the duck through the window and you can see the hiss around it and you're like, something fucking up with this duck.
Yep.
But like, there are pages of notes here that it's just like, it doesn't fucking do anything. It's a duck. Like, it's a rubber duck, but you can see it's a problem.
Because we've also now established up to that point that this is a world where, like, specifically benign objects can have super crazy effects.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the slide projector, like the core of the narrative of that
thing.
It's
slide projector.
It's a slide projector. Right? That's all it is. But it's also opening doors to worlds.
Yeah.
So, like, it could make sense the duck could blow us all the fuck away.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But you've just not done anything with it.
That's what we're talking about.
The fridge you have to look at.
Like that in its own, like, why is that a fridge?
Yeah.
Why is it a fridge and why do you have to stare at it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But, like, hey, we're going to do this really cool thing with it.
It fits in that setting and in that world.
Totally.
And whatever they've set up for that.
And the fact that they've narrowly constructed a thing where it's like, we have infinite space to work with.
Yeah.
We have infinite resources, theoretically.
Yeah.
And an infinite amount of potential things to... You can pick any object.
Yeah.
And make it its
and
own
be like,
episode
oh, we
of
found
that
a
show.
new object of power.
Right? Like,
it's this garden rake.
It's such a smart way of setting up, to the point where, like, a thing that's never happened with a Remedy game before is, like, they need to do another one of these, or like Control colon episode 2 or something in
Yeah.
this. They need to continue
More
on this
Control.
world
Yeah.
because there's so much untapped material there.
Yeah, there's
that
a
they
lot
can-
of stuff that you
that
could
they can
do with
go
it.
on. And even like it didn't quite make it into best moment, but like the fake out ending of that game is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
where you wake up as
yeah,
like,
where
I
the-
just work in
the credits roll and then the Hess takes over the credits.
yeah,
And
and then you're just like, oh, I work in the office now, and you're like, wait, no,
Yeah.
this is what? There's so much to enjoy in that game, but I'm having a trouble comparing that to a work that will define genres for the future.
Yeah,
like
it's really hard to like it is a thing that like Disco Elysium is a thing that is like it legitimately scares me that I think this thing is going to be underrated.
Yeah.
And it's like people are not going to talk about it and it's just going to pass by and nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing that there are a couple of games in my entire existence where I've been like, more people should have paid attention to it. Like Tyranny. Tyranny was one of them where it was like, this fucking thing did so much so differently that was so good and
Totally.
no one fucking cares. Like no one talks about Tyranny. And that's what I'm worried is going to happen to Disco Elysium, where it's like nobody played it and it's going to be like me and a few people in the world going, fucking this game.
Totally.
Like this game is super important and you need to see this. Like
you're becoming the Shenmue people.
like, yeah, well,
Except
Shenmue was
Disco
garbage,
Elysium-
but
exactly.
Yeah.
Except Disco Elysium's a good game.
Is the people that are pointing at this thing going, this thing was really important and you really should have played this. Like
Yep.
it is a very important thing. And it is like, even if I'm happy that if the ideas that game has put out in terms of like construction of those type of games
Yeah.
is carried forward, that's fantastic because they are super great ideas.
Even if it's just like a martyr up there to go like, you don't need combat in these games.
Yeah, like that
you
is
can do pure narrative and it works.
that is a super breakthrough thing for CRPGs, because there are other CRPG type games in the past that have done like tried to do no combat
Yep,
things,
totally.
but it is the combination of like this game has no combat with their incredibly well designed skill system.
Yep.
And the strength of their writing that means that it doesn't matter that there's no combat,
Totally.
because there's always just more
There's
good writing
stuff.
to find.
Yeah.
That everything compounds together to make this thing that is now this standard of like, if you want to do one of these things, you can do it like the other ones. Like you could do it like Baldur's Gate, and you can do it like Pillars and all that stuff,
Yeah.
where it's like assemble your team, do your fantasy
yeah.
thing or whatever. Or if you just want to tell a really good story,
Mhm.
see if you look at things like Disco Elysium and things like Planescape Torment.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be.
And again, it's
That
a thing which is like my distaste for traditional fantasy at this
Yeah.
point has put me off so many of these CRPGs. A combination of the high fantasy
thing,
and
yeah.
the combat.
I think
is
that
just
will
like,
also help Disco Elysium is that it's grounded in a fairly realistic world.
like,
Like
I mean,
is,
it's like magical.
it's a
It's
fantasy-
magical realism, but
yeah,
it's still
it's a fantasy world where it's slightly more brought up to the surface, but
Yes.
it is still based in like real world politics
Totally.
and all that stuff, as opposed to something like Planescape, where you have to kind of get your head around what the fuck is sigil, like why the fuck is
Totally.
what the hell is this, why is this person a demon, like all that
Yeah,
stuff. And this is all very, no, these are just people. Like
yeah.
it's,
They're people with
you have to
real-
learn about these people
Sure.
and what
but
the
they're
world
people,
that they
but
live
they're people
in.
with
but-
problems you can understand. And
Yeah, when
yeah.
someone comes up to you and say, "Hey, I'm striking because my boss is a dick," you're like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
get
good.
that. That makes sense."
strike.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or maybe don't, because sometimes striking's maybe
and
not the
also,
best
like-
idea because you get gunned down.
Totally.
But
And again, like the simple thing of like the way we're going to fill out this world for you and you as a character, because like every game under the sun has done the amnesia storyline, but the
Yeah.
fact that you learn about your character by talking to your character internally,
Yeah,
is such a like simple solution to that problem.
Again, this is part of the mirror between it and Planescape, where they were both games about amnesiacs, but in Planescape, the nameless one learned about who he was and his past and all of his different incarnations from other people.
Totally.
Like he went to other people and went,
Yeah.
"You fucked me over, and here's how you fucked me over."
Yeah.
Like when you go and meet Ignis, and he's like, "I'm on fire constantly because you set me on fire."
Right.
Because you told me that knowledge only comes through
And it
pain and
never-
all that stuff.
and it never-
Whereas Disco Elysium, you learn who that character that you've built is by interacting with that character yourself
and the different parts of you as a character.
And the different parts of that character
Yeah.
that will either be greater or stronger built on the character you've built.
And it's such a revelation to have character built that is not like strength, intelligence, constitution.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it is like, how well do you process?
How good are you with your hands?
How good? Yeah.
How good are you with emotions?
Totally.
How intelligent are you?
How good are you at recognizing when someone does fucking with you? Like,
yeah.
Those being the prime parts.
Those being your core stats, and then breaking that into a set of skills that are understandable from like a human perspective.
Yes.
Of like, of course they've got fucking like wildly like Inland Empire. Like, what the fuck have you read that? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
But it's super important.
Yeah.
But then you get to things like suggestion and empathy and stuff like that. You understand what that is.
Kind of my favorite is Esprit de Corps.
Esprit de Corps is
which is
really
just
cool,
like,
yeah.
how good are you at being a policeman?
Yeah, like how much do you identify with the police force?
Yeah,
and how much of a cop are you?
And as a force, as a role,
yeah.
how important do you
like
see
in society? Like, how do you feel?
Which is
about the
fascinating.
police?
Like, because again, like as you look at those things, you could be like, fucking, what happens if you just go as like a super intelligent person who doesn't give a shit about being a cop? Like, what is that character?
Yeah,
like
I had no idea. Like at that point, it was like, so I was thinking about this of like a like hyper intelligent character without any esprit de corps or whatever. It's basically just like Sherlock Holmes.
It's Sherlock Holmes,
where he's solving mysteries because he likes.
Totally.
He likes being
and
intelligent,
also like
and
ethics. Like,
yeah, ethics are kind of shit because
Yeah.
your psyche would have to be really low to do that. But yeah, it's that super hyper intelligent, but
Totally.
I can't deal with people sort of idea.
Yeah.
Which is in my character was kind of what I was going for, but then I realized he was going to be too much of a dick. So I kind of wanted to pull it back a little bit and have him be a little bit.
Well, my original plan was to go like once I started that game, because I started like putting points into empathy, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be a really empathetic character who understands like people's emotions. And then I started, and it's like, oh, when you're actually like you're waking up in as a hangover, you're like, I wonder if how that reacts, how that integrates with you having a drinking problem. Like, I wonder what happens if you just go, I have too much other shit to worry about. I'll deal with getting sober later.
Yeah.
And like, what happens when you throw the alcohol back onto that? And I was that was the point where I was like, actually, you know what? I've connected so much with Kim and with the other people here, and the guy behind the bar in the hotel has given me so much shit for trashing my room. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll keep off the drink.
I'll
for
stay
now.
sober.
See, and you end up just kind of writing your own story and your own, even the stuff that's not explicit. You kind of write your own story.
Which is why it has that tabletop RPG feel. Everything feels really dynamic and almost ad hoc and ad lib. Like, it's all, even though it is obviously scripted.
Yeah.
But because of the way you build your character and the skills and things like that, it feels like you're doing that at a table and having someone react to it.
Totally.
But it just turns out in the video game, the person reacting to it is you.
They've just thought of all of these things and have been like, oh, you're doing this? Okay, here you go. How am I going to make you feel shit today? Like this?
It's a lot of like, how is Harry going to feel like a piece of garbage now? Oh shit, look what's happened to his gun.
Also, there's no like, it's so easy. It also solves the Paragon Renegade problem, right? Of like, you look at you look at percentages, like you see it in like stuff like Life is Strange all the time. Any of those games that surface numbers, where you're like, it is like 70% first playthrough is always Paragon. Yeah, just because it's really difficult as a regular human being to play a Paragon you need to forcibly do like, this is what I would choose, but actually I'm going to be a dick here. Yeah, like it's so difficult to do that. Where like all of these things so far, everything I've read and like talking to you and seeing my own game, like regardless of what you're prioritizing or how you're playing it, like it's gonna fuck you somehow. Oh yeah, because if you don't, you cannot do everything.
There are very few choices in that game that lead to an outcome where you're like, that's good.
I feel okay.
Like a lot of the time, it's kind of like, fucking, that's not gone great.
Or there's just the right mix of like, the way I spec my character means I came out of that better than anyone else could have possibly done. Yeah. But also, I was completely ran around. Somebody gave me the complete mental run around there because I'm not good at that. Yeah. Like, it always has a way to bring you back down to earth and go like, nobody is this hero person.
Like, nobody can be that. Yeah.
Right.
Because the things that I've seen that are like when you internalize the idea and start thinking that you're like a superstar cop.
Yep.
Like you're like, I'm the fucking best at this. Like
Yep.
I'm so good at being because you can see that in some of the dialogue options.
Yeah.
Of being like, I'm a great cop. Like I know what I'm doing.
Totally.
If you start internalizing that and start behaving like that, a lot of the choices that you end up picking end up with something fucking bad happening.
Sure.
And you just having to go like, fucking, that wasn't me. Like I didn't do that. So is this weird sort of mental detachment that happens between I'm a good cop, so everything I do is great, and holy fuck, you've screwed this so badly.
One of the first inklings I had that there's something special about that game is it lets you do the thing that I want to do in those games which have the amnesia storyline.
Yeah.
Of you just going to every character going, I don't know who I am.
Oh yeah,
I'm not any of them. Like, it lets you do that a surprising amount. Kim just gets more and more nervous.
So the best thing, one of the best things I've seen exactly related to that, other than the whole like, because I did that with Kim. He came up and he went, "Sorry, I don't know who I am."
Yeah, like,
and he's just like,
it's when you go like, "I'm a cop."
I'm a cop. Like, what?
Yeah,
yeah. And well, like yeah, and again, that's the thing where you can do a whole bunch of like really good detective work and turn to Kim and go, I'm pretty good at this, aren't I? And he goes, yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
And like one of the things is like when you find your ID that I talked about earlier, you can read the character's name, and the character can go, nah, I don't like that name.
Really?
And you're like, yeah, but it's your name. And he's like, nah, like that doesn't feel like me anymore.
Yeah.
I want something else. And you can give yourself like one of the dumbest names I've ever heard. I can't remember what it is, but it's some like blasé, really fancy name. Yeah. And if you pick that, and your character decides, no, I'm done being this person, I'm this person, you can go and introduce yourself as that name for the whole game.
Really?
And say, I'm X, and it's this dumb name and stuff like that. And everybody goes, that's a fucking weird name. And Kim is just sitting in the back, like writing in his notebook, just like shaking his head.
Yeah.
And you're like, but it lets you do it, and it's just like, this is a totally like individual character thing that you can choose to do just because you can do that. Like that's just a thing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like the fact that I don't have a character portrait it's brilliant,
wild to me. Like I didn't even think of that. That is crazy.
Yeah, and you don't even like, it's not even a face. It's like this grey haze.
Yeah.
Because you've never
looked, you've got no idea what you look like. Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to do with the mustache thing?
Yeah,
like, is that even going to be a part of my game? Because I've never looked and seen that.
I don't know. Because if you interact with that mirror, that'll be the first time seeing your face.
Right.
Which I don't know what that means.
Right.
I don't know if you then go through the whole "this is what the look is" thing again, because you've never seen it, so you don't know what that is. But yeah, it is. It's a bizarre thing.
It's a really astounding game. It really is.
And it's a game. It's one of the few games where even with as much choice as it gives you and as much variance as you have in that character, the ending I got for my character felt right.
Right.
And that is so hard to pull off in a game like that, because you have so many choices that you could completely fuck something up.
Yeah.
But that game ends with like you talking to a bunch of your cop friends and them just being like, what the fuck happened? And you just have to break everything down and be like, but it ends with, the conversation, it ends with you just being like, so what about you? Like, what's happening and stuff like that. And all your cop buddies are just like, oh, he's a drunk, he's a drug addict, like, don't listen to him. And my character just had to be like, no, like, I'm done with that. Like, I can't do that anymore. It's not me.
Yeah.
But the thing that really got me, that I could see where something would go completely differently, you do all that and you explain who you are now and you do all that, and that you're like the head guy of the division that you're in, goes like, all right, okay, let's go back to the station and let's figure out what we can do here. Do you have your ID? And you go, yep, I've got it here. You go, cool. Do you have your gun? You're like, yep, got it. And I was like, fuck, if you didn't find your ID or your gun, you were fucked in that situation, because they would just be like, you're the worst cop I've ever seen. Like, what the fuck are you doing losing your gun?
Yeah.
Because they do that when you go and report it over the phone. I've lost my phone. Yep. Everybody laughs at you and is like, what the fuck, he's lost his gun? And you're like, yeah.
He's saying, it's when they have the conversation where, like, obviously it's not visual, but you can see the guy going, hey, guess what, he's lost his gun, like that thing.
It's like you can hear a ruffle and it's like, yep, he's lost his gun again. And it's like,
he's about quit.
Yeah, it's staggering, that thing.
It really is.
It's
okay,
unbelievable.
I am happy with that list as it stands.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
So our game of the year is Disco Elysium. Number 1, Control. Number 2, Outer Wilds. At number 3, 4 is Apex Legends, and 5 is Eliza. I am pretty happy with that list.
Yeah, I'm damn happy with that. That seems right.
Cool. I'm okay with that. That's a good mix of stuff as well. It's a really good mix of stuff.
It goes from very, very intimate therapy session to fucking
fucking battle royale game.
Yeah, battle royale game, political drama,
Yeah.
space time travel bullshit, and then who the fuck knows what control is?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's,
It doesn't matter.
and it doesn't matter.
So that's us for 2019.
Yeah,
2020 is happening. It is the year of new
consoles
It
and
is a year
lot of big video games.
Cyberpunk's
is going to be
3
pretty
months
big.
away.
Yeah,
Which is kind of wild actually.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that game is still kind of like, we know what that game is, but it's still kind of a mystery about how like scope, size,
Yeah, you get
any
no
of that
idea.
is like,
yeah.
who fucking knows.
They're playing it very close to the chest, and it's
which is
entirely what you want to
good,
do. Yeah,
good. I'm glad. Like that is a game that I bought a graphics card for, and that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
it's going to be something.
2020
2020 is going to be interesting.
2020 is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, this will probably be going up because we kind of took a break for a while just because there wasn't a lot happening.
Yeah.
And there was a lot happening with us, so
Yeah.
we kind of took a break. But hopefully, this should be the start of us getting back into it.
Mhm.
And I promise this will go up before February. I promise this will go up at the start of the year when it should be, as opposed to literally May.
It was May, yeah.
Last year. I've got some time to actually put into this now, so I can do that. But yeah, so we will see you in, well, this will be in 2020, and it is actually 2020 we're recording this.
Yeah.
We will see you continuing on in the year. Please keep an eye on the website, GameEngineStart.com, and you can see it there. And we will see you soon, I'm sure. Bye.
Bye.